Welcome everyone to the Tibetan Buddhist Society Peaceful Land of Joy for another beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's quite lovely this time of year. I don't know if people realise, but the blue of the sky at the moment is the blue that's around the edging of the temple on the outside. It was deliberately matched to match this beautiful blue that we get at this time of year. So it's really quite delightful to sort of have nature and the universe brought into the actual walls of the temple. Very lovely indeed. So my name is Pam and I'm a long-term student of Geshe Acharya Thubten Loden, the precious founder and spiritual leader of this centre, a traditional Buddhist temple and the beautiful gardens that we've all been experiencing today. So let's start again with our traditional prayers, which Jonathan will put up on the screen for the people here, and I'll use my prayer book, so just give me a moment. We're on page 19 for those people at home. Do you want to turn the screen round a bit, Jonathan, so people can see? Right. Now you're right, wherever you are. Okay. Oh, good. It's important that we get settled before we start, because what we're trying to do is listen to the Buddha's word. So it's really nice if we're nice and comfortable and sit where we want to sit and all that sort of thing. So thanks, Nikki. Okay, let's start with the general prayers on page 19. Peaceful, calm, focused. Let us begin. The first one is praise to Shakya Buddha, and we'll do that one in English. Teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Aha, perfectly pure and complete Buddha, all-knowing, having poise, Sugata, apprehender of the world, navigator of beings to be subdued, incomparable, teacher of gods and humans, to the Buddha, the Bhagavan, the glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, we prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. And then the refuge and bodhicitta practice and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. To the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, I go for refuge until becoming enlightened. Through the merit of my generosity and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. And then we establish our heartfelt bodhicitta motivation for our practice today, a wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, with a short mandala offering in Tibetan first. Jaji Poki Jun Shung Mei Tok Tram Rira Ling Shi Ni De Gan Pari Sangha Jing Du Mi Te Wagi Trokun Na Dakshina Chopashok. This ground, anointed with perfume and strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, the 4 continents, adorned with sun and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered thus, may all beings enjoy such pure lands. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Nuyata Yami. I offer this mandala, offering it to the Guru. Then turning over the page for those with a prayer book. The 7-limb prayer. I prostrate my 3 dolls with a mind of respect and offer all actually arranged and mentally emanated offerings. I reveal all the downfalls and negativities that I have ever collected and rejoice in the virtues of individuals and superiors. Please remain perfectly abiding until samsara is no longer seen. I request you to turn the vast and profound wheels of Dharma. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. And then prayer of the lineage gurus on page 23 in English. Body born from a million magnificent excellent virtues, speech fulfilling the hopes of infinite beings, a mind that sees all objects of knowledge precisely, I bow my head to the chief among the Shakyas. Supreme sons of the incomparable teacher, carrying the load of all the conqueror's deeds, by their emanations appearing in countless realms, I prostrate to Maitreya and Manjushri. The mother of conquerors is difficult to fathom. The precise thought is in commentaries written by Jamdavicta's ornaments, Nagarjuna and Sangha. I prostrate at the feet of those most renowned in the 3 realms. From these 2 great chariots come the excellent lineages of the paths of profound views and vast deeds, their essential points gathered thoroughly and without fault. Prostration to the lamp holding this treasury of instruction. Giving explanation through compassion by seeing precisely and completely the essential points of all paths of Sutra and Tantra, holder of the conqueror's entire holy Dharma, prostrations to the glorious Losang Drakpa. I, seeing all the infinite teachings, supreme way of crossing for those entering the journey to liberation, moved by compassion to deeds skilled in method, prostrations to the spiritual masters who make everything clear. And then final prayer for the beginning, the Great Treasure of Excellence, on page 27 in English. And this is called the Great Treasury of Excellence, and also the Prayer of the Path to Enlightenment. And it's composed by the unequalled second Buddha, Jetsun Tsongkhapa, the founder of our tradition. The kind master is the basis of all qualities, and proper reliance is the root of the path. By seeing this excellence and through much striving, bestow blessings to be devoted with great respect. This gentle support of freedom obtained this one time is most difficult to achieve. Knowing its great value gives rise to a mind seizing its essence constantly, day and night. Bestow blessings to generate this continuum unceasingly. It is like a bubble in water, this constantly moving body and life. Thus remember the swift collapse of death. Beyond death, like body and shadow, white and black karmic results follow after. By gaining firm certainty in this, the mass of faults, subtle and very subtle, are abandoned, and the accomplishment of all virtuous collections completed. Bestow blessings to ever retain conscientiousness. The qualities of samsara are unfit to be trusted, the door to all suffering. Do not be content with these enjoyments. By knowing its defects, bestow blessings to develop a great aspiration for the bliss of liberation. By that pure thought, great conscientiousness is drawn forth, and mindfulness and awareness of the individual liberation, the root of the teachings. Bestow blessings to make this the essential practice. Just as I myself have fallen into samsara's ocean, all living beings as mother are also like that. By seeing the responsibility for the liberation of beings, bestow blessings to be trained in supreme bodhicitta. However, by merely generating the mind, if not acquainted with the three aspects of ethics, enlightenment will not be attained. By seeing this excellence, bestow blessings to train with strong effort in the vows of the conqueror's sons. Pacifying distraction toward perverse objects by way of proper analysis of the perfect meaning. Bestow blessings to swiftly and continuously generate the path related to the union of calm abiding and special insight. Thus, becoming a vessel trained in the common paths, enter the Vajrayana, supreme evolution of all vehicles. Bestow blessings to engage the easy path itself, that sacred way of crossing for fortunate beings. The base of practice for the two aspects of attainment is when guarding the pure vows of commitment is found to be genuine and certain. Bestow blessings to protect them even at risk of life. Then, by understanding properly the important points, which are the essence of the two stages of the Tantra classes, bestow blessings to practice according to these holy teachings with continuous effort in the supreme four-session yoga. Like that, may the spiritual friend revealing the gentle path and the friends of proper practice stand firm. Bestow blessings to quickly pacify the masses of outer and inner hindrances. In all rebirths, man never be parted from the perfect gurus and the enjoyment of the glorious Dharma. By utterly completing all qualities, paths and grounds, may quickly achieve the state of Vajradhara. Thank you, Jonathan. I was, as we were saying that last prayer, Great Treasury of Excellence, it actually goes through Guru Yoga, the small scope, the medium scope, and then the great scope and Vajrayana. Then at the end it has a dedication. If I remember, when I'm talking with you today about our topic, which is the small scope, I'll try to remember to read the two verses that belong to the small scope again. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 verses. You know, Geshe has given us this beautiful book of 900 pages, and I guess the pure summary of this book is in the Great Treasury of Excellence, because Geshe-La's Path to Enlightenment book covers all the small scope, medium scope and great scope of the Path to Enlightenment, just as this beautiful prayer by Lama Tsongkhapa does. Very beautiful. Anyway, if I remember, I'll read it again. Just those two verses. Okay. I don't know about you, but I reckon that meditation is one of the most beautiful aspects of studying Buddhism, partly because you can cover so much in your mind as opposed to your brain when you're meditating, but also it takes us to a most beautiful place of stillness and peace and clarity. So I'd like again to start us off with meditation today, and then I'll do a short teaching, and then we'll finish again with meditation, going over the teachings that I've introduced you to today. I find, as I was saying, I find meditation quite beautiful, but it also helps me get away from, us Westerners. We spend our whole lives going like this sort of thing, driving our cars, going to work, doing the shopping, coming back, fixing the kids, all that sort of stuff. And it is stuff, cluttering stuff all the time. Whereas meditation takes us to that beautiful place of peace and spaciousness. So let's start off today with a meditation that's called the Rainbow Body Meditation. And probably a couple of years before Geshe-la's passing, he did this meditation with us at actually the World Peace Ceremony like we had yesterday in the temple. So it's quite lovely to be doing this meditation today that Geshe-la gave us a couple of years before he died, but at a similar time of year. So it's a beautiful gift that we have received from him. Okay, getting ready to meditate, just breathing gently at your own rate. No need to push anything or control anything. Just sitting here enjoying it. Shutting your eyes gently when you've settled your body. I always think about it sort of like my eyelashes sort of brush my cheeks. So you can shut them completely if you want to, hold them open if you want to, whatever you're used to doing in your tradition. For me, the shutting of the eyes is a real trigger to my mind, not my brain. I've forgotten all about my brain, it's irrelevant. It's a real trigger to my mind. Now's the time to meditate. Just enjoy this, Pam, just go with it. So you might also like to use that trigger for your mind. As you shut your eyes, it's saying to your mind, here we go. So first of all, doing awareness of our body. These are the three awarenesses that Thich Nhat Hanh particularly used in meditations. So as we establish our meditation, we settle into an awareness of our body. In your mind, is it comfortable? Does your body need to move just a little bit? Don't disturb yourself. Just a little bit to get yourself balanced and ready to enjoy the meditation. Now gently slide your concentration across to the second awareness. Awareness of your breath. You might be watching it, observing it, just inside the tip of your nose, or the rise and fall of your chest. If you're observing at the tip of your nose, you'll notice that the in-breath is cooler than the out-breath. Buddha teaches 4 mindfulness breathings. The first one is, I am aware of my breath. The second is, I am following my breath. Everything else sliding away, just following your breath with your mind, with your concentration. The third mindfulness breathing is, I follow my breath for as long as the in-breath comes in and as long as the out-breath lasts as I breathe out. As you do this, you'll notice that there's a turning point from in-breath to out-breath. And the fourth mindful breathing is, I am aware of my body. I relax my body with my in-breath and my out-breath. And then after awareness of our breath is the third awareness, the awareness of mind. Gently being with your mind. How does your mind feel when you rest this way? As we start the meditation, take your mind to the crown of your head. Imagine that at the crown of your head, just under your skin, is a small rainbow-coloured drop of light. The rainbow-coloured drop of light has various colours: white, yellow, red, green, and blue, with white in the middle and the other colours like segments of a beach ball. This rainbow-coloured drop of light is brilliantly coloured. Nothing solid, just in the nature of light, shining very brightly with its 5 colours. It feels very peaceful. As you imagine, you become aware that the light rays are emanating from the rainbow-coloured drop of light. These rays transform all your crown area into exquisite rainbow light. Focus single-pointedly on your crown and enjoy its transformation. Then imagine that the rainbow drop moves slowly from your crown down to your throat area and transforms that area into rainbow light. Beautiful 5-coloured rainbow light. White in the centre, yellow, red, green and blue. Radiating out. Focus single-pointedly on your throat area and enjoy its transformation. Next, the rainbow drop moves slowly down to your heart area, transforming that area into radiant rainbow light. Beautiful, peaceful, in the nature of light. Five colours. Focus single-pointedly on your heart area and enjoy its transformation. The drop of light then moves slowly down to your navel area, emanating rainbow-coloured light and transforming your navel area into radiant rainbow light. Focus single-pointedly on your navel area and enjoy its transformation. Then finally the 5-coloured drop moves down to the area at the base of your spine. It too is transformed into radiant rainbow light. Beautiful 5-coloured lights radiating. Focus single-pointedly on the base of your spine area and enjoy its transformation. As you focus in your mind, imagine that all 5 of these areas have the beautiful appearance of rainbow light. Each place in your body, your crown, throat, heart, navel, and the base of your spine, all are transformed by this rainbow light. Now imagine, know, that the rainbow light then emanates from each one of these areas. Your crown, throat, heart, navel, base of your spine, all radiate out beautiful, peaceful rainbow light. White, yellow, red, green and blue. These radiating lights expand until your whole body is transformed into rainbow light. From the crown of your head to the ends of your toes and fingers, your whole body is rainbow light. The rainbow light also transforms your mind. A calm and peacefulness becomes so clear for you. You had no idea of your mind's beautiful spaciousness. Gone is the agitation. Gone is the dullness, the doubt and the confusion. Just the calm and peace of your limitless mind. Rest in this peace for a while, keeping your focus single-pointedly. Now imagine that the rainbow light emanates from your body and transforms this temple. All the space, the people, the walls, everything transforms into rainbow light. Your whole environment becomes rainbow light. More rainbow light emanates from your body and goes further and further. The grounds and gardens, the road, all the other houses and people and animals, they too transform into rainbow light. The rainbow light continues to emanate throughout the entire city, the state, the whole country. Out to the oceans. Rainbow light out to all countries. Imagine that the whole earth and all beings are transformed into this rainbow light. Everything is transformed into rainbow light. All beings are embraced by it, by the peace and happiness. Gently hold your concentration on your knowing of this peace and joy. Bring your focus back if you stray. The whole earth has become in the nature of rainbow light. Now, like mist disappearing on a mirror, imagine that this rainbow light-natured earth and all its beings gradually dissolve. They collect and dissolve into your own rainbow body. Now there is nothing but your rainbow body. Then your rainbow body collects from the feet upwards and dissolves into the rainbow-coloured drop of light at your crown. Gently, slowly. Your body dissolving up to the drop at your crown. And gradually this drop of light too becomes smaller and smaller. And then dissolves into space. Meditate on this peaceful, blissful spaciousness. sit quietly for a little while and enjoy this wonderful feeling. And when you are ready, just gently finish the meditation and open your eyes. Isn't it a beautiful meditation? Thank you so much, Geshe Acharya. So last week, we were completing our review looking at chapter 7 in Geshe Acharya's book, the chapter on leisure and fortune, from page 197 onwards, and appreciating just how opportune this current life is. We have the 8 freedoms and the 10 endowments of our current fortunate rebirth as humans, living in incredibly good conditions. It is difficult to overestimate the value of such a rebirth. Our rebirth has 3 values: the temporary value of everyday life in our lives of comparative ease. And with such good conditions, we have the opportunity to make progress on the path, the ultimate value of our current rebirth. And there can be value in every instant, as with mindfulness, all our activities can be a cause for enlightenment. So how can we make the most of this most fortunate rebirth? There are 3 incremental steps on the path to enlightenment. The first step is the step of the small scope, the path of renunciation. And this is about wanting to escape our own suffering in cyclic existence. That samsara we can abide in, escaping samsara that causes us so much pain. And when we escape that, we can abide in a state of blissful peace and permanent happiness. For those practitioners of Buddhism might be drawn to the medium scope, the path of bodhicitta, where we want to lead this life with loving kindness and great compassion for all sentient beings. Then in the great scope, the path of wisdom, we have the goal of enlightenment, and we cultivate the wisdom to see the true nature of all things. So over the last few weeks, we've been doing the preliminary practices and the teachings from the small scope. When we think about this, it's easy to think that, these are, how can I put it, each one gets better than the other. But it's not like that. I think what's important is that each of the scopes provide a way of thinking and leading our lives. You're right there with the sun shining in your eyes. Please move if you'd like to. It's sort of pretty painful from the looks. So please move if you'd like to. It tricks us all, yeah. So in the small scope, what we're given is the path of renunciation. We're wanting, we're needing, we know we have to escape this continuous pain that we keep living in over and over again, the suffering of our cyclic existence, as it's called, samsara. And so this, to start off at this scope, is so important, because without this renunciation, the other 2 scopes can't occur. If we don't have renunciation, basically being sick of what's going on in our lives most of the time, we then don't get the motivation, the urge to do anything about it. So learning about the small scope and appreciating it and being aware of it, how it occurs in our lives, is a really important step in, me being biased, of course, a very important step in leading the Buddhist life and how to manage our lives in a way that's helpful for ourselves, of course, but helpful for all sentient beings. And that's the main point of it, that by knowing how to do this, we can be helpful for all sentient beings. So I think I'm in the spot where I can reread that prayer. Just the first couple of verses. In the Great Treasury of Excellence, I haven't planned this, so I hope this makes sense. The first two verses are about Guru Yoga, but the third and fourth verses in the Great Treasury of Excellence, and the point of the name of this is, it's the prayer of the path to enlightenment. It's showing us the way. So verses 3 and 4 say, "It is like a bubble in water, this constantly moving body and life." You know, we do this all the time. We live our life, we die, we live our life, we die, round and round we go. So it is like a body in water, this constantly moving body and life. Thus remember the swift collapse of death. Beyond death, like body and shadow, white and black karmic results follow after. So when we die, certain aspects of our karma, which we'll talk about today, ripen, and then that determines what happens in our next life. By gaining firm certainty in this, the massive faults, subtle and very subtle, are abandoned, and the accomplishment of all virtuous collections completed. Bestow blessings to whoever retain conscientiousness. They're quite technical words in that verse, but I think the key to it is the last sentence, which says, bestow blessings to whoever retain conscientiousness. In other words, watch out what you're doing in your life. What are you doing that's helpful for you in this life and also in future lives, and most importantly, helpful for all living beings. So, sort of keeping an eye on yourself. And I guess that's the focus of what I want to talk about today in the teachings, because that's where we're up to in the path to enlightenment. Is what can we do in this small scope path of renunciation about escaping our own suffering and cyclic existence, so that we can abide in a state of blissful peace and permanent happiness. When we consider this small scope, we become able to acknowledge that everything is impermanent. Death is inevitable for ourselves, our loved ones, people we know a bit, all sentient beings. So death is inevitable, and the next aspect is, and who knows when our death will happen. It's all pretty random, isn't it? We all know people who are very old, 95, 98, things like that. We also know people who died tragically at 20, 40, whatever the number is. None of those people planned to have their life of that many years. It's always impermanent and inevitable that death will come, but we never know when death is going to come. So this acknowledgement is very helpful indeed in challenging our procrastination, one of my favourite words, procrastination, carry it around a bit too often, our procrastination about studying and practicing Dharma. The 8 worldly dharmas of accruing wealth and having a good time or wanting others to tell us how wonderful we are become quite futile and irrelevant. So how do we maximise our opportunities in this life and set ourselves up as well as possible for our future lives? Our best option is to take refuge in the 3 jewels. As you know from last week, or I'm sure your readings in Buddhism, the 3 jewels are the Buddha jewel, the ultimate source of our suffering, the Dharma jewel, the teachings of Buddha, and these give us the cessation of suffering, and the path to that cessation, i.e. how to do it, and the Sangha jewel of monks and nuns, or for us, because we don't have the opportunity to have the formal Sangha jewel of monks and nuns, my Sangha jewel today is all you wonderful people here today and people who may be sitting at home watching this. We all have that beautiful lay Sangha jewel, which is really nice. And the community of that lay Sangha jewel is very beautiful to enjoy. So it's the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, and the Sangha jewel. And then we consider, excuse me a moment. And then we consider the good fortune and privilege of having a teacher, a guru, to explain Dharma to us, guide us on our journey. So many of us here have had the marvellous opportunity of Geshe, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but he is represented in all the books that he wrote for us. You know, another guru that, you know, I think everybody in the world, whether they're Buddhist or not, would know is His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So many people would have him as their guru, even though they may never see him face to face or get teachings directly from him. So we have the three jewels, and then we have the wonderful good fortune of our teacher, our guru. So last week we started chapter 11, which is the chapter on karma, and the final chapter in the path of the small scope. This week we'll continue to examine the general characteristics of karma, and then next week we'll look at the specific actions of karma and how they play out in our lives karmically. But I think, you know, in recent years it's important to acknowledge, I suppose, that karma is used quite differently in lay, you know, out there in the world sort of thing. You know, people say, oh, it's just your karma ripening, or karma will get you, or something like that. But that's not the Buddhist interpretation or meaning of karma at all. I think when we understand the specific meaning of karma from a Buddhist perspective, it makes a lot more sense to us. And it certainly doesn't have that punitive payback aspect that is often used in today's world. As Buddhists, we have made the decision to do our best to try to live our lives for the benefit of all sentient beings, including ourselves. This is not just trying to generate rebirths in which we can enjoy the optimal conditions in this life, this time around. It is much more than that. From the perspective of our tradition of Mahayana teachings, we are working towards achieving enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, humans, animals, fish, birds, those beings we don't know anything about because they're in other universes, etc., but all beings, all sentient beings. And it's quite an amazing achievement to aim for, I think. You know, when you think about what we're trying to do, it's quite incredible. But when you look at the teaching of Dharma step by step, you can see that you can actually get there. You know, it might take me a couple of lifetimes yet. You know, I'd hate to count how many or think about how many, but the point is we can make progress in our lives as we go towards enlightenment. So with this pure intention, we can see that the karma we generate has huge implications. When we generate negative karma, it really impedes our progress towards enlightenment. It can cause lower rebirths in the hell realms, etc., where it is impossible to practice Dharma. And so we can't make any progress on the path when we have rebirths in the lower realms. On the other hand, when we generate positive karma, we create the potential for another human rebirth in the future, making it possible to continue our practice and progress towards enlightenment. So you can see that the teachings on karma are vital. We need this information to plan our journey and the way we live our lives. These teachings are quite extensive and detailed, with comprehensive analyses from every perspective: the general characteristics, the particular certainty of karma, its increase, actions done and not done. Then there is the heaviness of the 10 black karmas and the corresponding 10 white karmas, the outcomes of these karmas, throwing karmas, completing karmas, certain and uncertain karmas, specific groups of karmas that optimize a favourable rebirth, and finally the way to engage and discard karma. So with such complexity, in some ways I'm not sure how to approach teaching karma. Indeed, I feel tempted to recommend that you just get a piece of paper and a pen and take notes on the parts of what I say that particularly make sense and resonate with you. But having said that, what I've decided to do today is that I'll present the context for studying karma by referring to sections of His Holiness's, the Dalai Lama's text, The Foundation of Buddhist Practice, in conjunction with Geshe-la's marvellous Path to Enlightenment text. His Holiness makes our situation very clear when he points out that as Mahayanists, our life's work is to achieve enlightenment, or at least make as much progress as we can on the path to enlightenment. We need to observe, monitor, and regulate our day-to-day actions to maximise the likelihood of being able to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. This Mahayana motivation is more specific than general statements such as being good or being kind or making the most of our fortunate rebirth. Our job as Mahayanists is to work towards enlightenment. As His Holiness has said, having found this precious human life of leisure and fortune, we now have a choice. Will we create the causes for suffering, or will we create the causes for happiness? If we decide to do the latter, the most urgent thing to do is to abandon the 10 non-virtues, the 10 non-virtues of killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, idle gossip, covetousness, malice and wrong views. And as we abandon the 10 non-virtues, we can engage in the 10 virtues, and they're basically the opposite of these. I'll go through them later. His Holiness goes on to say, there are many types of causality, biological, chemical, psychological, and so forth, of which karma and its effects are one. Karma literally means action and refers to sentient beings' intentional, physical, verbal, and mental actions. Our actions matter. They not only influence others in this life, but also result in our own experiences in this and future lives. And His Holiness continues, the results of our actions depend on our intentions, in that actions done with a virtuous intention bring happy results, and those motivated by non-virtuous intentions bring unpleasant results. Human intelligence makes us particularly qualified to discriminate between constructive and destructive, beneficial and harmful, what to practice and what to abandon. Animals do not have such discriminative wisdom. As human beings, simply surviving or seeking a healthy, happy life is not fully making use of our potential. We must look deeper and ask, how did this human being, me, come into existence? How can I make my life meaningful? What happens after I die? So His Holiness is very direct and clear in his strong message to us as Mahayana Buddhists. At a more worldly level, I thought it was very interesting to see that the very successful tennis and cricket player Ash Barty retired this week. Like everyone else, I found her actions to be quite intriguing, and I would love to know more about them. Unlike so many players in tennis or other sports, most politicians, and indeed all sorts of other important persons, Ash Barty has somehow been able to resist the lure of the 8 worldly dharmas: fame, fortune, money, reputation, and so on. We could justify that she is rich enough to be able to retire excuse me, and live the rest of her life in good conditions. And yet the accumulation of an abundance of wealth hasn't enabled others to say enough is enough in a timely manner. I'm guessing, of course, but as a proud Narragansett woman, possibly her actions are based in the wisdom of her indigenous culture, the importance of relationship, family, and traditional values. Whatever, it is clear that she has had the focus and strength to be confident in her principles and live according to them. Pardon me. And she also has the courage and determination to make sure that the way she lives in her life fulfills those values. Indeed, even great temptations of fame and wealth were not enough to deter her. To repeat His Holiness's words, I think that is what he is telling us when he says, as human beings, simply surviving or seeking a happy, healthy life is not fully making use of our potential. We must look deeper and ask, how did this human being, me, come into existence? How can I make my life meaningful? What happens after I die? I feel I need to point out that I am not a famous sporting personality, in case you haven't noticed, nor am I ever likely to be one. But even more so, reaching enlightenment is no mean feat either. If it were, we'd all be pleasurably abiding in Tashita Pure Land or somewhere like that. We'd be there already. But by being aware of karma and doing our best, we can actually make progress on the path. That's why Geshe-la's teachings on karma are so important. On page 322, Geshe-la tells us that all beings, their lives and their environments are created by karma. There is no other creator. Everything exists as a direct result of the individual and group karma of living beings. The unique karmas created by individual beings and the group karmas resulting from the shared experiences and environments. So how does karma play out? Our cyclic existence is composed of 3 realms: the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. In the desire realm, where beings have strong desires, there are 6 divisions: the hells, the hungry spirit realm, animal realm, the human realm that we live in, demigods, and the highest, the God realms. Above the desire realm are the 4 levels of the form realm. Pardon me. And then above that are the 4 levels of the formless realm, where beings have no form and only exist mentally. On page 324, Geshe explains that the universe has an ongoing cycle through dark eons of millions of years where there are no teachings from Buddhas, followed by light eons where Buddha's teachings are present. It is only in these light eons that it is possible to attain enlightenment. In each cycle, the realms reform and in each cycle of what happens, the realms reform and beings are reborn. Then the lifespans of beings gradually decrease, and then starting from the hell realms up, the beings disperse from their realms, and finally the realms themselves disintegrate. Then after a period, the next cycle begins, starting from the top downwards. That is the God realms first. Each realm is filled up again with beings according to their merit. Lord Buddha explained that the realms are created by group karma of living beings, and that beings born in the higher or lower realms are born depending on their individual karmas. There is more detail in the text if you wish to read further, but in summary, all the experiences of all living beings arise from no other source than the karma that they themselves have generated. Our own past actions create our own current present experiences, and our present actions and those of the past create our future experiences. As Vasubandhu said, the whole variety of all the worlds was created by karma. I find this information quite comforting, but also a bit scary. Unlike some other religious viewpoints, from a Buddhist perspective, our well-being is not determined by the kindness of a benevolent external creator. There is no system of reward and punishment by an external being. Our happiness, and indeed our suffering, is up to us. It is generated by preceding causes and conditions, by our own actions of body, speech and mind. Whenever we create karma, we will experience the results of that karma, perhaps not in this life, but definitely in future lives. It is simply the natural law. Happiness is the result of virtue. Suffering is the result of non-virtue. It may not ripen immediately, probably not, but we will definitely experience it. So, in summary, like it or not, I guess, the generation of good conditions or bad, the buck stops with ourselves, which is, oh dear. But that is very encouraging as well as perhaps a little confronting. When we look at karma in more detail next week, we will see that Buddha's teachings, Geshe-la's teachings, give us precise information about karma, how we should behave, what we should avoid, the implications and consequences, and so forth. We'll start with the general characteristics of karma next week, and we'll consider the specific ones, those physical, verbal and mental virtues and non-virtues that we repeatedly enact, that make our lives good or perhaps not so good. And we'll learn about the virtuous ways of living to enhance our progress. So I think that's a good place to stop for today. So what I'd like Jonathan to do, if he would please, is put up, each week we've been using a beautiful one of Thich Nhat Hanh, incredible Vietnamese monk who died, I think in January, earlier this year anyhow. We've been using one of his calligraphies each week, one or two, as a basis for our meditations. So I'm waiting for Jonathan to give me the yes, but I think it's coming up on your screen now. and I like this one, and it says, "This is a legendary moment." And by amazing good karma and magic, it's going to appear. Aha! So this is a legendary moment. And as I've mentioned before, these are actual calligraphies done by Thich Nhat Hanh with his chalk or mark, whatever it's, I don't know what it's called in Vietnamese, in red at the bottom there. I'm not sure how Thich Nhat Hanh would teach to these calligraphies that I have been using each week, but I know he's has always taught us that it's important to be in the moment, what is going on now in your life. You know, who cares about the past, it's gone, sort of thing. That's my words, not his, please. And what's going to happen in the future, who knows? But to recognise that this moment is a legendary moment, I think is really lovely. So let's get ready to meditate, and I'll lead a meditation to finish off before our prayers. Settle yourself however you like to, ready to meditate, and then we'll begin. In this legendary moment, what I'd like you to do is draw up a mental visualization of His Holiness, of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. Now, he's up here. I don't know if you can pick it up in the box there. Won't come on the camera, okay. Most people know what His Holiness looks like. They've seen him many times. The thing that always strikes me about him is that his smile just generates not only love and compassion, but acceptance of us all. So beautiful. So what I'd like you to do in your own mind, in your own meditation, is bring up your own visualization of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. If you prefer, you could use a visualization of Geshe, but certainly one of His Holiness is beautiful to do. Your visualization doesn't have to be perfect, of course. The point is to know rather than see. The point is to know that His Holiness is actually here with you. Much more than just what you can see on the inside of your eyelids. It's a knowing that He's actually here, taking your time and enjoying it. Now take your focus to your heart. What happens in your heart when you visualize such an enlightened being? The embodiment of love and compassion. His Holiness is the embodiment of love and compassion for all sentient beings, of course. But especially love and compassion for you. Sitting quietly, let your heart experience this. His Holiness's love and compassion for all sentient beings, but particularly, especially, his love and compassion for you. Keeping your visualization going, let's do some analytical meditation. This is a legendary moment. Every moment is a legendary moment. His Holiness says, having the marvellous good fortune to have found this precious human life of leisure and fortune, we now have a choice. Will we create the causes of suffering for ourselves and others? Or will we create the causes for happiness? In this legendary moment, you are generating the causes for your future. What kind of future are you generating right now? Are you creating the causes for suffering, or are you creating the causes for happiness? With great kindness and compassion for yourself. And actually patience too. How can you create happiness in your life? Happiness for yourself. Happiness for others. With great kindness and compassion and patience for yourself, how can you make your life more meaningful? How can you put more legendary moments into it? Focus single-pointedly on this understanding and establish it firmly in your mind. A more meaningful life. With kindness, compassion, patience for yourself. With kindness, compassion, and patience for all sentient beings. As His Holiness says, how wonderful it is that we have made this decision to do our best to live our lives for the benefit of all sentient beings. Benefit for ourselves, benefit for others. benefit for others, benefit for ourselves. Then when you're ready, gently finish the meditation and open your eyes. I'd like to think that at least to some extent, that meditation was a legendary moment. How often is it that we actually sit and become clear with ourselves about what it is that we're trying to do with our lives right now and in the future for our own benefit and the benefit of all sentient beings. So, let's dedicate our merit and do the final prayers. In dedication, may our practice today bring peace and well-being in our lives and the lives of our loved ones. May the efforts of our practice bring peace and well-being to those around the world, particularly in people experiencing war, ill health, mistreatment, and poor conditions. And may the efforts of our practice bring peace and well-being not only to humans, but to all sentient beings. So now as we do the dedication prayers, the first one is on page 31, the final prayer of the graduated path. We'll do that one in English, please, Jonathan. I'm smiling because it's so nice to, just sit and, do something like this. As I was saying before, our lives are so busy, they're crazy sort of thing. And it's really nice. I congratulate you all on taking this time, giving yourselves this time to just sit and be more insightful, more thinking, more meaningful. I'm not sure what to say, as you think about how you can live your life. Good on us all. A legendary moment. Okay. On page 31 of Geshe-la's prayer book, final prayer of the graduated path, composed by the unequaled second Buddha, Jetsun Tsongkhapa. By the two collections fastest space, amassed with effort for a long time, may I become a chief of conquerors, a guide for all beings whose mind's eye is blinded by ignorance. Also, in all lives while not yet come to that, may Manchushri favour me with his compassion, finding the supreme path, complete with all the stages of the teachings. May I please the conquerors by practicing well. By my precise understanding of the essential points of the path, with skillful means drawn along with strong compassion, and by dispelling the mental darkness of beings, may I uphold the conqueror's teaching for a long time. Where the supreme precious teaching has not spread, also where it has spread but become degenerate, with the mind deeply moved by great compassion, may I make clear this treasure of benefit and bliss. The stages of the path excellently established by the marvellous deeds of the conquerors and their children, give glory to the minds of those aspiring for liberation. May the conqueror's deeds be long preserved. May all humans and non-humans who remove the obstructions and establish conditions favourable to generating the excellent path never be parted from all of their lifetimes, from the purest of paths which the Buddhas have praised. When someone makes effort to practice properly the 10 points of conduct of the Supreme Vehicle, may they always be assisted by the mighty protectors, and may oceans of good fortune spread out, reaching all. And then just before we do the dedications, our next class is 4 p.m. next Sunday, the 3rd of April, where we'll learn more about specific behaviours and karmas and enjoy, of course, meditations, the basis of our practice. And I'm confidently going to say that the class will be in the temple and available online. You know, Melbourne, Victoria is going very well from a COVID perspective, and hopefully it will continue so. But the main reason why I paused was because I didn't want people online to hang up before I've said this, because this is the good bit. And just to let you know that we have a very special treat in store, which is the Easter retreat from 7 a.m. Friday the 15th of April to after lunch on Monday the 18th of April. And the name of the retreat is The Refuge of Peace and Joy, Meditations for Troubled Times, and that will be with Tim McKibben, who is teaching the introductory classes on Sundays. And Tim says, there are so many, you can read this on the website and online, I assume, Facebook. Tim says, there are so many worries at the moment. The economy, COVID, war in Europe, floods and climate change. How do you stay positive in all this uncertainty? How do you let go of the worry and find the clarity and balance for yourself? And he says, fortunately, meditations is not just for the good times. Its transformative power shines through when facing difficulty. And then he goes on about meditation nurtures peace, compassion and resilience. Isn't that a lovely word? As the mind calms down, it becomes happier, more positive, and the way ahead becomes clearer. So this retreat is a focus on meditations for troubled times with Tim. To register for the retreat, you do that online, but the delight of this retreat is for the first time in over 2 years, you can actually live in to attend the retreat, first in, best dressed. But if you're not living in, you can attend it online if you wish. But we haven't been able to offer retreats where people can actually live in and enjoy the company of each other, how I was talking about today. So if you would like to join us with that, please do. You'll find the registration for it on our website. So if we could do the dedication prayers now, please, Jonathan. Isn't that nice that people can actually come and stay here again? It's when I read that, I'd almost forgotten that we used to be able to do that. You know, it's been so long, over 2 years, so it's delightful indeed. Okay, so our general dedication prayers on page 34 of the prayer book. We might do the special dedication. Can you pull that one up in English, please, Jonathan? And then we'll do the general dedication. So, whatever white virtues we have thus created today, we dedicate as causes, enabling us to uphold the holy dharmas of scripture and realisation, and to fulfil without exception the prayers and deeds of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times. By the power of this merit in all our lives, may we never be parted from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana, and may we complete the journey on the paths of renunciation, bodhicitta, pure being, in 2 stages. We might just do the general ones in English, please, if we could. Excuse me. So the general dedication. By this virtue, may all beings complete the collection of wisdom and merit and attain the 2 holy bodies arisen from wisdom and merit. May the precious superior mind of enlightenment be generated in those who have not yet generated it, and not decrease in those who have developed it, but increase continuously. So thank you for that. I don't know if people have questions, discussion, comments. We usually wait a little minute to see if they pop up, please, Jonathan. Oh, right. We'll get someone to follow up on that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed you being here with me. Thank you for meditating and listening to the teachings. Much appreciated. Oh, cups of tea accept. Oh, I'm sorry. Please join me.